All right, so we're setting in on Unit 5. So this unit is all about chemical reactions. All right, so we're going to focus on, the formatting and how to tell different types of chemical reactions apart from each other based on their equations. So today we're just going to identify the basic components of a chemical reaction, and by the end of the class you should be able to tell me what the reactants and products of any reaction are. So, if you recall back to Unit 1, we talked about physical changes and chemical changes. So chemical changes can only be observed during a chemical reaction. So a chemical change results in an actual change in the chemical makeup of your matter. All right, so a chemical reaction is anything where you take some substances and break them down and build new substances. All right. So, for example, to create liquid water, you have to put in hydrogen gas and oxygen gas, and you've got to break apart those molecules and rearrange them so that you have two hydrogens attached to one oxygen to make water. All right? So, reactions involve breaking things down and then reforming them in some sort of new chemical makeup. The basic structure of a reaction is going to be written like this. You always have your reactants on the left side of the arrow, and the arrow points towards your products, which come after the arrow or on the right side. All right. Your reactants are the substances that are broken down, broken apart. All right. And then your products are the ones that are created or produced by the chemical change. So, shouldn't be hugely shocking information, but essentially from this you should be able to circle reactants, box products, and just be able to identify them fairly easily. All right, so if you need to pause and think about where circles and boxes belong, but your boxes, that's an arrow. Sorry. So I would box everything on the right side of the arrow, all right, because these are all products. And I would circle everything on the left side of the arrow because these are all reactants. All right, pretty simple task. Something else that is started in lesson 5.01 is what those big numbers are for. All right, so say you have your So we know what these little subscripts are for. Those tell us that there are 2 hydrogens, 2 oxygens, 2 hydrogens, how many of the atom written in front of it. This big number is what we call the coefficient. All right, so that is this guy. All right, and that tells you that there's 2 of this whole molecule. All right. And these numbers are necessary to abide by this law of conservation of mass. All right, so the text defines this as, in a chemical reaction, matter cannot be made or destroyed. All right? So really what that means is that everything that goes into the reaction has to come out of it. Nothing can disappear. Nothing can just magically appear. All right? So we use these big numbers to do what we call balancing a reaction and make sure that on both sides, all the hydrogens that we put in come out. All the oxygens that we put in come out. All right? And that's really going to be our focus for lesson 5.02 is how to do this idea of balancing.